Hello class. This video is going to focus on 1.2 algebraic expressions. The goal of the video is I can write algebraic expressions for verbal expressions. And you want to open up your textbook to page 13 to take notes. So we are going to start with some definitions. So we have a variable, which is a word you may have heard before in 8th grade. A variable is a letter used to represent an unspecified number or value. A lot of times for variables in algebra, you'll see x and y. An algebraic expression is an expression that contains at least one variable. A term of an expression is a number, a variable, or a product or quotient of numbers and variables. A variable term is a term that contains a variable. And then a constant term is a term that does not contain a variable. So it is just a number, like 7 or 150. Those are constant terms. So add this somewhere on page 13 to your notes. So I have the expression 2x plus 5y plus 10. And it is an expression because it has, well, it's an algebraic expression because it has variables, it has numbers, and it has operations. So the way that we determine how many terms are in an expression is if you see a plus or a minus sign, that is going to separate your terms. So in this expression, we have 3 terms. We've got 2x, we've got 5y, and we've got 10. Okay, so we want to identify our variables. For our variables, we've got, remember those are our letters, so we've got x, and we have y. Okay, so our terms, again, those are the things that I circled. So they are separated by either plus signs or minus signs. And remember, if something has a minus sign, that's actually a negative number or term. So for our terms, we've got 2x, we've got 5y, and we've got 10. So variable terms, so those are our terms that have variables with them. So we have 2x, and we have 5y. And then constant terms have no variables at all, so that would be 10. Okay, so that's how we break down an algebraic expression. Okay, so we are going to try example 1. We want to write a verbal expression. This is on page 13. So write a verbal expression for 5x to the third power plus 2. So we're just going to write it out in words. So we have 5. And remember, if you have a number in front of a variable, that operation is actually multiplication. There's a little dot in between. So 5 times, and then we have x. Now we can either say x to the third power or x cubed. Either one is fine. I'm going to go with cubed. And then we have plus. And there are other words that we can use instead of plus for addition. And then 2. Okay, so 5 times x cubed plus 2 would be a verbal expression for that. Okay, here is one for you to try. So you're going to try the check. Which verbal expression represents this algebraic expression? So pause the video, figure out your answer, and then check your answer once you are done. And here is the answer for the check. Okay, here are our next examples. Write a verbal expression for each algebraic expression. So this is on page 19, and we're going to do numbers 12 and 18. So starting with number 12. So we're starting off with 9. So we have 9. And then times. So 9 times. Now anytime you see parentheses, we want to use the word quantity because that means parentheses. So 9 times the quantity. And then inside the parentheses, we've got a to the second power, or a squared. So I'm going to say a squared. And then minus 1. So 9 times the quantity. Actually, I should put an of in there. I'm going to just throw an of a squared minus 1. And then let's look at number 18. So we have p to the fourth power. So p to the fourth power. And then plus for addition. And then 6 times r. So p to the fourth power plus 6 times r. So we are literally just taking the numbers and letters and operations and putting it into words. Okay, this is going to be example 3 on page 14. So we want to write an algebraic expression. So in A, we have 2 times the quantity y plus 11. So we're just going to fill in the blanks here. So the word times implies multiplication. The quantity implies parentheses. And plus implies addition. So the expression is written as 2 times the quantity. Now you can put a little dot in between for times, but you don't need to. So we have parentheses, y plus 11, and then close the parentheses. In B, we have 3 cubed increased by 5. So the word cubed implies a power of 3. Increased by suggests addition. Remember, you have your operation word sheet that I passed out last week. So you can also use that if you need help with some of the operation words. So then the expression could be written as, you could write it as 3 cubed plus 5. We could also write it the other way, so 5 plus 3 cubed. Sorry, that's a weird 3. But either of those is fine. Okay, this is a check for example 3, still on page 14. So you are going to try this on your own and pause the video. And when you are done, you can press play and check your answer. And here is your answer. So again, if you need to pause it to check it, please feel free to pause it and then continue once you are done. And that is the end of 1.2a. Don't forget, you have the quiz on this video that's coming up, and you need to score at least a 75% in order to move on to the practice.